Hey there, it's Rachel Mullins, the host of Hashtag No Filter Fridays on Public House Media.
Do you need some extra motivation in your life? Are you looking to be inspired? If so, then look no further than the Good God Company.
At the Good God Company, their mission is to create and clothe all loving humans with their unique, inspiring, and beautifully designed t-shirts.
All of the products from the Good God Company are equally designed to motivate you and improve your life. From their mugs, workout tanks, to eye-appealing shirts and sweatshirts.
Learn more about their renowned products by visiting thegoodgodcompany.com. That's thegoodgodcompany.com.
The Good God Company is proud to support Public House Media. The Good God Company. I'm feeling good.
This is Ryan Pierce, host of Completely Serious here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Completely Serious, where we talk about sports and have fun with great guests. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you'll never miss an episode of Completely Serious. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
As you remove toxic people from your life, you free up space and emotional energy for positive, healthy relationships. John Mark Green. As I started reading that quote today, this morning, and when thinking about these kinds of things, as you remove toxic people from your life, you free up space and emotional energy for positive, healthy relationships. Who doesn't want positive, healthy relationships in their life? Good morning. Welcome to Choose to Rise. As I was reading this quote this morning and really thinking about it, I was really yeah, why don't we want to remove toxic people from our lives? How do we do more of that? How do we create healthy relationships in our hearts and our minds? How do we improve our own confidence and improve our own lifestyle by getting rid of the negativity? And today I want to help you with that. First and foremost, I want to welcome you to Choose to Rise. Welcome Public House Media. I'm so glad that you're here with me today. And to encourage you to also check out the Good God Company. They're one of our sponsors, and I really appreciate their support in helping us bring our voice to others and help other people lift up out of their current situation and rise up out of their current situation and live their best life. And by choosing one of the Good God Company products and using PHM10, you can get 10% off of any of their amazing consumer products. They have beautiful and amazing inspirational, motivational, spiritual messages and designs on all kinds of consumer goods. So I hope that you go check them out. You can just Google them. You can find them on Facebook, the Good God Company. And I have a couple items, workout tanks that I love to wear just out and about. And they're always eye-catching and just great messages to support and uplift people. So thank you to them. Also to Podbean and Spreaker and everyone else where we have a platform to spread this voice and to help other people lift up and be their best self. So thanks so much for everyone who supports the show. And if you've not heard, Choose to Rise has been nominated for a podcast award, and it just blows my mind that this has happened, and I feel so honored and blessed. And I just want to thank all of you for your support and your encouragement, and just giving me a platform and a space to serve others, because that's what my whole mission is to help other women and men rise up out of their current situation to live their best life. And how do we do that? We create confidence, we create healthy relationships, we think through things and try to work towards a happier life. We depend on our God to help us, not be afraid and to follow His path, because He's created us all unique individuals. And today I want to help you really think about healthy relationships in your life. I want to help you get rid of the toxicity in your life and help you be more positive. A lot of times, we're always talking about on here, we're always talking about confidence building and being happy and finding your happiness. You can't have joy in the same heart that you have fear. You can't have happiness in the same heart that you have doubt. You can't have, those toxic relationships in your life are kind of sucking all the happiness and joy and peace out of your heart. So how do you get rid of those things? A healthy relationship has accountability. A healthy relationship has safety and honesty and support, cooperation, and, putting things together and creating win-win situations for conflict and helping build trust. And it's just a respectful situation. And so today I want to help you build those kinds of relationships. I want to help you be encouraged and set some boundaries in your life to kind of get rid of the toxic people in your world and help you live a happier, healthier life. So setting boundaries can be kind of scary. And sometimes thinking about it myself just gives me a little bit of anxiety. But, a lot of times I think like if I ignore the problem, it'll go away. But I've also learned that it doesn't. It doesn't just go away. You have to deal with a situation in order for you to get past it completely. And so I've learned that problems not dealt with only get worse, and that toxic people rarely, go away on their own. You have to start to cut them out of your life. So it's better to deal with them immediately, both to create a safer, more secure, long-term relationship with yourself and with them, but also to prevent them from saying, or you from saying, something that you don't necessarily believe, or that maybe needs to stay said unsaid, or maybe it needs to be said in a more productive way. So today we're going to walk through a couple things on what does a healthy boundary look like, how do you work through this process of getting rid of toxic people in your world, and how you can kind of keep their toxicity at bay even if they have to be a part of your world. Sometimes we don't have a say in who is in our life because they're blood, or they are, you married into a group, or you have to be there because it's your job. So there's lots of ways that you can create a safe boundary between you and them. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So if you've ever seen or experienced healthy boundaries, this, it can be hard to kind of set them. But even though that we need them, it's something that we want to work towards creating, even if we're unsure of how to get started. So over time, I've got some things for you to kind of think about and some things to apply. You can apply today, and really to kind of why healthy boundaries are important, what they look like, and how you can create them. All right, so let's get rolling here. First and foremost, healthy boundaries help you say no without guilt. They ask for what you need or you want. People with healthy boundaries take care of themselves. They help take care of others. They feel safe to express difficult emotions and also to disagree with things. People with healthy boundaries feel supported to pursue their goals. They are in tune with their own feelings. They are energized and alive. Now, who doesn't want to feel that way, right? So there's lots of stages of setting boundaries in your world. And the first and foremost thing that you need to do is to change your mindset. Yeah. One of often the biggest obstacles in setting boundaries is your own feelings about those boundaries. Feelings such as of worthiness, some guilt, some insecurity, some fears. And to overcome this hurdle, you have to first believe that you as an individual is worth having confidence in yourself, is worth having that boundary created so that you can move forward and know that you can set those boundaries and that it's worth doing. You want to let go of the guilt you feel and to find a safe environment and focus on you, because when you can fill your own cup, that's when you'll be able to go fill others as well. Surround yourself with people who encourage and support you. Maybe join a support group, go get some therapy maybe if you really need it. But remember that you are worth it. You've been so busy taking care of so many other people, and you deserve to have people take care of yourself as well. So it's time to really put yourself first and create a state of happiness for yourself. And the second thing you need to do is determine what you want to get out of those boundaries. Creating the boundary or just saying, I need to put a boundary here isn't enough. What do you want to achieve here? How do you need to have a safe relationship? Do you need space here? What kind of behaviors are acceptable? What behaviors are not? Really identify and get clear and focus on what it is that you want to achieve here, and then it'll be a lot easier to set the boundaries up. The third thing you need to do is to communicate those. This can be difficult from time to time. This is where you agree that there needs to be a boundary. You agree that this is what I want to achieve out of it, but then actually communicating it, that's the hard part. So toxic people often resist boundaries. So there's for they have power in that space there, and they don't want to lose that power. So to avoid a scene when communicating your boundaries, meet in a neutral place, maybe a public place, one where you can leave at any time if you need to. If things get kind of heated or worked up, communicate your boundaries simply and directly. You don't have to offer explanations for things. You don't have to try to convince them why the boundaries are needed. They're just stating your case, offering the information, and letting them process on their own. Be courteous, but don't console them. If it's you're the one that's putting up the boundary. You don't have to console them for needing to have that there in the first place. That's also kind of giving back some of your power and maybe weakening your boundary at that point, even right there. If they resist, don't necessarily argue with them or compromise. Simply tell them this is the way that you're going to be working forward in the future. And then finally, make sure that you tell them that they're not doing this to push them away, or that you're trying to, maybe you are, but that this is for both of you to have a positive, healthy relationship moving forward. They may or may not understand the situation, and it's okay for them to think whatever they think, because their thoughts are not your worry. Your worry is how you need to feel and how you're needing to move forward. So how do you Jen Sincero in the book You're a Badass talks about this a lot, in how their thoughts, their opinions are their own, and they're not a reflection of you. They're a reflection of their own insecurities, their own thoughts, their own minds. And, this is really kind of brought up most recently at a couple teammates that were kind of bashed on social media for being positive and for helping others be healthy themselves. And someone was very rude and very unkind and was body bashing one of my friends on social media. She was doing a workout move, and he was talking about how unfit she was and how she had roles and should not be putting herself on social media. Now, obviously, there's a boundary that needs to happen right there. That man's insecurities with himself or his mindset on how the world should be or whatever is none of her business. She needs to cut him out of her life. She needs to put up a boundary there, and his toxicity does not need to be in her world. And so, she obviously, the things that she's doing there is unfriending him, blocking him from her social media, because who needs stuff like that in their world, right? So it's easy to do things like that on social media. One, for people to say things, and two, for you to block them. But how do you do it really more so? The harder part is doing so more in those physical relationships where you see people on a day-to-day basis. And the reinforcing of those boundaries is super important. So what are the consequences if you set these boundaries are not respected for your world? Make sure you hold to them every time, no matter what. Saying no means no, and saying yes when you really mean yes. Don't let yourself be guilted or manipulated in finding ways to get around the boundary. People are going to want to try to push themselves around. They're going to try to, really test you to see if what you say is what you mean. And being able to walk away, or just confirm that this is the boundary, or just finding ways that you can be connected to and find peace in your situation. And if things don't improve and your boundaries are continuing to be disrespected, you might just really have to just walk away for good in those situations. And that probably is going to be hard, but it's also probably going to be the best situation if things are really bad in that area. The fourth thing to do is reward yourself. When your boundaries are respected, reward the person doing the respecting. And as crazy as it seems, it is really difficult for people to respect other people's boundaries sometimes. It's like all humans, people are not rewarded after doing something difficult. They're not really going to probably do them again. So, if you can do that process with somebody, great. If you can reward yourself for being strong and sticking with it, even better. And also reciprocate. Remember that to respect other people's boundaries as well. Be firm and fair and lead by example. Don't drop to their level but bring them up to yours. And so also be thinking about how you can, when you're setting those boundaries, it can be super difficult to kind of maybe sometimes figure out the language to use. You don't always know what to say. And that's usually the thing that stops people from trying to set boundaries in the first place. So, you don't have to convince people. There's really no explaining your situation like I said before, but there are some things that you can, use to say no without being disrespectful back. So things like, I'm going to have to pass, or I'm sorry, not this time, not right now. now, not this time of year. You caught me at a terrible moment. I think I'm going to pass here. I really just can't say yes to the situation. Again, you don't have to explain your rationale. You just have to say it and stay strong in the situation. Maybe another time, please cross me off your list. That's one of my favorites to send to when people call me for insurance or whatever, like all those automated calls. Just take me off your list. That's all I need to say to you, right? And so it doesn't have to be a crazy thing, but like when you are able to set boundaries in your life and create safe places for you to be, and create safe places for you to grow and think and learn and prosper on your own, you're going to have a much easier opportunity to create your own happiness and create your own confidence in your own world. So if you're able to take some of these tips today and really think about how you can start to remove some toxic people from your life, remove some toxic relationships from your life, and really start to focus on the good, you're going to be able to create your own happiness and build your own confidence at a greater rate, which will not only help you reach your goals faster, but it will help create a safer, more productive environment for you to live and grow in. So thanks so much for joining me today, and I'm so glad that you're here with me. If you imagine yourself meeting people in this state and you need a little help, for me personally, if I don't plan something out like this, practice what I'm going to say, going into these types of conversations, it can get emotional. I can start feeling guilty and weak. And that's not the whole point of this situation. The whole point is to be strong and confident and grow in a way where you can help other people understand that there are boundaries in life that you should be respected, and that you are worth all the effort in doing all this process. So, part of living healthy and living confidently is knowing that your self-worth is important, knowing that you are capable of achieving great things, and knowing that you are worth the boundaries, that not everyone just gets to walk all over you and talk negatively or bring you down when you don't necessarily need it. So walk confidently, live proud, and set these kinds of boundaries up, and surround yourself with the people that are going to uplift you and encourage you and support you and not necessarily bring you down. I hope today that, thank you, Rebecca, for joining. I hope today that you get something out of this, that it's helpful to you in some way, that you can start to build up those barriers around the people that are toxic to you, and you can start welcoming and opening arms to people that are going to help support you and lift you up. Again, thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure you check out The Good God Company. Thanks again to Podbean and Public House Media and Spreaker and everywhere else that this podcast is out there. And thanks again for joining me. I appreciate your feedback. Thanks again, Rebecca, for joining, and the comments here. If you are so pleased and interested, I would love for you to share this on your social media. Tell at least 3 friends about Choose to Rise. And then also, if it's in your heart to support, I pray that you would head to the Podcast Awards site and vote for Choose to Rise, and Press Row, which is another one, another Public House Media podcast that's been nominated by July 31st, and we would really appreciate your support there. Again, thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you again next week, where we'll be talking more about improving relationships in your own life, clues that you need to work on to love yourself, and creating healthy habits throughout habit stacking. So those are some podcast topics coming up. I hope that they serve you well, and that you have a fabulous weekend. Talk to you later. Bye.